Good morning, St. Francis. It is Friday, August the 27th, 2021. Friday of the 21st week of the year, but more importantly today, it is the memorial of Saint Monica, the mother of Augustine, the undaunted, fierce, nagging mother of Augustine, who kept hoping that one day he would eventually become fully initiated as a Christian. He begins his life becoming a catechumen and sort of remains that way until the very end of Monica's life, when he finally becomes fully initiated, and then the trajectory onto him becoming Bishop of Hippo Regius in North Africa in the Roman Empire. A very interesting woman. Again, Augustine writes about her a lot in his autobiography. She was not going to be thwarted in her attempts to basically care for her son and making sure that her son opened his heart to Christ. She might have been just a little bit less maybe pressing, because then Augustine becomes a little bit too self-conscious of everything that he did and kind of makes everybody unhappy later on with some ideas about original sin that aren't necessarily fully in keeping with what it is that Jesus of Nazareth reveals in the Gospels. So we honor Monica, we honor all mothers who are trying to help their children understand the will of God in their life, and who are able to succeed because of their perseverance and their belief in the goodness of their children. Today's readings, continuing with Thessalonians, Paul now again talking about taking wives, because that's what one did in that time, and basically that you do it out of love and not out of lust. Now, was that true of all non-Christian people or all peoples in Paul's time, that it was basically just one lust fest or whatever it is, that people were accepting people in marriage or taking wives? It's like, no, that's not the case. But there were circumstances in which anything but love is what was drawing people together, and the uniqueness or the remarkableness or the difference that Christianity offered was that love could be part of marriage, that love could be part of the relationship between two individuals moving into this commitment of life together. That was remarkable. That was unknown in many ways. Marriage could be done for a number of reasons, and the least of them could have been love, which is why, again, Paul does write about that in a lot of places, Ephesians, and it sounds kind of weird the way he says it, but he is trying to make the point that love has to be the center of our relationships always, and not just gain or notoriety or finances or economics or whatever it is that unfortunately drew a lot of people together in those first centuries. In the Gospel of Matthew, we hear something that we would hear at the end of the year of Matthew as we draw to the conclusion of the liturgical year, and that is the parable of the 10 virgins, the 10 bridesmaids, whatever you want to call them. It is, again, another parable about being awake, and making sure that we know, again, what's going on and what's happening. The foolish bridesmaids, the smart bridesmaids, the ones who bring oil, the ones who do not have enough oil, and then having to go out and find some when the bridegroom comes, and all these kinds of things, work against trying to be ready to embrace Christ when he returns, or to embrace what is happening because Christ is at work in our lives here and now. If we are not prepared to live out our life as believers, if we are not prepared to really struggle with what it means to be a believer in this world, then we will miss out. We will miss out on so much. We will miss out on the power of what faith can offer to our lives. So many people, again, want faith to be either, some kind of magic formula, or they want faith to be something that, makes everything better, keeps me in a bubble and protects me from everything that's bad, but that is not what faith is. Faith is opening ourselves to what could be possible in this world if we would dare to believe, that God can be at work in our lives, even when things do not seem right, even when things seem all messed up, when things seem so confusing and anxiety-ridden. To understand this kind of God in our life is a God who does bring life, who brings hope, who invites us into his life so that we might know life and have it to its fullest. May the Lord give you his peace.